hounds of war are loose.
We are live and unfiltered. I am still man at arms because same dude. Got no jokes this week. With me as always, Uncle Festa, also known as Ryan. Do we have a witty t-shirt this week? I just want to know.
Not witty.
Well, I mean, thank God we're not depending on our live ratings. Coming back to the stage, you know him, you love him. Man has a tremendous beard. Grindhead Jim.
What's up, y'all?
And your chair, I want to compliment you. Actually, you don't look like you have a giant backpack on because you threw something over it, so it breaks up the silhouette. So,
well, this hoodie is always there. Just sometimes I'm covering it up. So
pro
I move
as
the hoodie
fuck,
around.
bro. No, I think I kudos. It looks good, man. It looks good. It's breaking it up.
Your desk chair decor is on point this week.
Your desk chair decor is on. You're crushing the camping chair, bro. You're crushing it.
The show is gonna go great now. You look, well, your chair looks good.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know this week's guest, you are probably not alone, but this is fine. You should get to know him. I've known this dude.
Pretty fucking accurate.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, IAMTEEBOT, which
hey.
T-Bot for the time being. T, how have you been? It's been a full Guardian Con since we have spoken.
It has. I missed this past Guardian Con, but yeah, we roamed around quite a bit last time. I was like, yeah.
I was there and I missed it too this past year, so it's fine.
Nice.
But let's get, this is going to be a weird show because we got a topic I definitely want to talk about when Luke Smith, shat on a page. We got to cover this, so this is fine. But for those that are listening to the sounds of our voices, explain what it is you do on the internet, sir.
Oh man, what I do on the internet, like pretty much what every single
He hunts for the Twitch porn
pal
thing.
does on Twitch. Yeah, I look for Twitch porn and I try to report it because I have a high horse. And yeah, basically I play video games on the internet. I try to make people laugh. I'm successful about half the time.
Oh, if Ryan would have went live a couple seconds earlier, this would be like
a totally different, yeah.
But that's neither here nor there.
Maybe we'll release the audio in a bonus for the Patreon page.
You know what? I'm down.
It's time for $240 worth of pudding, ladies and gentlemen. Well, T, you've been doing this a while. You're a Destiny player, but you do variety. I know this, right? Or am I completely fucking wrong? Yeah, you do like all the things.
I actually did. I started with Destiny, switched to variety for a while, and lately I've just been playing Destiny because I actually like it. So, I play Destiny because I like it. You know, if I don't like it, I don't play it.
This is probably a good life philosophy.
Yeah.
People tend to watch more if you're enjoying yourself.
Not just
Yeah.
anymore.
Which is why my personal Twitch number is always in the toilet when I stream, because I am just saying motherfucker the whole time.
Yeah, but that means you're happy.
Well, you have a catchphrase now. You have a catchphrase now. If you don't say the catchphrase, people got like a 30-second attention span. If you don't say "Peg agrees," they're like fucking next channel.
If he's not saying motherfucker, we assume that he's mad.
Or sick, influenza or something.
Oh, you don't look so good,
He's a pod
motherfucker.
person.
Oh, much better. Okay.
What's wrong with Rick? Motherfucker. Like 40 years from now.
That's his
Done,
good
yeah,
morning.
I put a tweet out
Oh, we
later
gotta
on
keep
this
it.
afternoon. It was just I went full on Australian at work. Like I don't know what happened in my mind, but I was like, the truck has fuck all gas in it. I'm gonna sort that out. Hold these keys. If anyone asks you for them, tell them to fuck off or to go fuck themselves. And like the whole office stopped and went, dude. I'm like, I'm fucking serious. And just walked out. It was like, and at that moment, I missed playing with my clan. I realized this would have been normal conversation. But anyway.
All right, so back to tea.
Ask your questions. Go.
No, I don't have any questions for tonight. I was hoping we would have somebody who came in and said, "This is what I do."
We've done that. Now what?
Yeah. So,
Well, do we want to end on Destiny, or do we want to start with Destiny? And
I have a feeling tonight is going to be all Destiny and other shit sprinkled in, really, because that was that was a manifesto that idiot dropped today. So
I skimmed it.
I am pretty sure there was a section about skinning cats and dogs in there somewhere. The thing was
Could be.
long as fuck.
I decided to wait for somebody to make a video on it when he started to tell jokes. And then would put in parentheses that he was laughing at his own jokes. And I was just like, yep. And this is why I miss Chris Barrett. But, this is negative. I don't want to dwell on that.
So how long did it take
think
for
it's
Fallout
good?
to get one out?
What would you say, T?
I was gonna say, do you think it's good that he actually went and did this, regardless of whether you like the
Yes.
style of it? I think it's
Yes.
good, right? I think it's
It's like, fact is, I mean, it's a lot. He's going to be putting out more of it. I think it's a smart move. It speaks to the philosophy behind what they're trying to do, what their goals are, and why things work the way they work. So that, as a community, we can set our expectations closer to what they're trying to accomplish.
So
Granted, there are some decisions that may be made that I may not agree with, or I may agree with. That would have been true whether they were talking about them or not. Knowing the intent going in, easier for me to be able to determine whether or not I'm going to be on board with something. And that's really all this was. This was a big, Season of the Drifter really didn't live up to anything we tried to do for it. I love Gambit. I love Gambit Prime. I love what we were trying to do with Reckoning. It failed. We get it failed. We want to make some changes. Here's why.
before we go too far into this, Jim, you said you would go ahead and just summarize everything. So why don't we just start in with the summary and we can just talk about each of the things as a thought occurs while you're summarizing. Does that make sense?
Sure. Basically starts off, he talks about this whole thing was meant to be for like the last 6 months. So after Season of the Drifter started, then going into Menagerie. Talks about kind of each activity and what their design goals were, what they did well, what they didn't do well. Talked about the design, how that works, how it affects the developers, that make Destiny, and why, you know, from an outsider's logic, doesn't always line up with the design philosophy or with the reality of how developing works. He was always quick to not suck his own dick, even if he was laughing at his own jokes. He was very clear that he felt that they had more things to learn and to fix than things they had done right in the last 6 months, and what their thoughts were going into Shadowkeep, why they're making changes they're making, and then kind of prepping us to say, okay, well, the next 3 things we're going to post are going to be about Shadowkeep, which is like, okay, cool. An overview of it. And it's really where he was coming from. Like, he talked about how if he had it to do over again, they wouldn't have released Whisper in its original Black Hammer form, for example, because you know, it was clear that they didn't like the idea of reining it back in after the fact. But he also felt that, well, when we dropped it, the game sorely needed something that was absurdly powerful because the game was lacking. So he's like, so time, do I think it was a good idea? Sure. If I had to do over again, I wouldn't have done that. Because he didn't want the community to be negatively affected by having this cool thing. He mentioned how, for example, the sale of the ornaments for Whisper, for example, per cost standpoint, fully funded the 0-hour mission.
Yeah, which I thought was
like
cool.
shit like that.
Yeah, that was cool.
There's a lot of material to cover in this thing, but it was an interesting look, and it was cool that he was able to call out certain things like how a lot of things are developed at the same time. This is why you won't always see that clear progression going up, you know, like things building on top of other things, because those things they tend to be like there's 2 teams working on the stuff, and ways like they're not always talking to each other because they're each developing the thing, and so there isn't that kind of interconnectivity on what we're doing now versus what is coming, which is why when something comes out, it doesn't always build on what was there before because they don't have time to do that. Things like that.
Yeah, Mercules put out a thing a while back, and just kind of like an illustration of how development works. And it was like, okay, while we're building something, when we go to testing, we start building something else, and the other team is testing, then it goes live to the live team, and then the testing team starts testing what we were building. And it's like, if something goes wrong when they go live, it's like basically a cycle or 2 before they can even go back to fix what just went live, because the resources are constantly turning over, so to speak.
Yeah, and you know, early on, like, I think something that I feel Luke was trying to hint at heavily was resources. And you know, despite the fact that Bungie is a fairly large studio, they're still resource limited because of the type of game that they have going on. And they have other stuff other than Destiny that they do as well. I mean, Destiny's their main thing, but video game industry is, you know, now famously overworked, and the workers are famously overworked. And it's like, I think what he was doing was trying to basically tell the Destiny audience and the game's player base, that, hey, you know, we appreciate you, but you need to make sure you're appreciating us. Not you have to, but please appreciate us and know how hard and how many hours we put in to make this game. I think he was not so subtly hinting at that back during.
I didn't take it as a hey fuckers, look at how much work this takes, but know that there is a limit to what can be done in a given time period.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that things don't always make sense. To me, it came off a lot more humble than Luke Smith may have, you know, prior to and the launch of and the aftermath of, say, a Destiny 2. I haven't heard him say anything like throwing money at the screen for a while. Have you?
He could cure cancer tomorrow. I'm gonna fuck with him for the rest of his life because I played Destiny 1.
Right.
So I mean, I'm just saying.
Right.
I will continue to fuck with him.
I mean,
you said something about Whisper though. This just came to mind. Let me get this out real quick. the Whisper thing, Black Hammer was made and it was super OP, and then they nerfed it, and that's something that he wouldn't have done. But I find that interesting because time and time again they've introduced super powerful weapons throughout the game, especially in Destiny 2, and then they nerf them like it's a cyclical thing.
Yeah.
It's like he's had the chance to go back and do it, or the game developers have had a chance to go back and do it, but they haven't. Like, there's a lot of contradictory information, or excuse me, contradictory evidence.
I almost wonder if that's
Well,
a
I think that was
condition
like an
of-
example.
I wonder if it's a condition of sandbox changing around it, though. Like, they go into production on a gun, and they go, okay, this is where we're going to set it. And in the other side, so another team is building a new sandbox change. So that's going on. So they launch this gun, a sandbox change comes out, and they go, oh shit, this gun is way too powerful for whatever other changes the other team made, and now we got to go back in and bring it back into line. And that's where it almost sounds like, and I'll be the asshole, it sounds like mismanagement here, where they should be inside of a studio that big having those weekly conversations going, so we're going to make this adjustment over here so that you guys know what's going to be going live. They probably need to have that. Like,
I think that's part of what he was talking about today, in that they want to unify the way power is earned. They want to kind of do a baseline of making sure that they're making really cool gear that makes you feel powerful, but doesn't break the sandbox in a way that would force them into making these bullet sponges again. Like they're trying very hard to avoid that power creep happening over and over and over. So they're changing the fundamental systems and the way certain types of gear breaks the sandbox. Things like things that break the ammo economy, supers that last a whole match or whatever and shit like that.
Oh, one-eyed mask and Juggernaut.
Right. And
nobody at Bungie had thought of that before they released it. It took them like 2 months to notice. Like, that was immediately, I was like, I know what I'm doing with this. I don't even play Juggernaut. So I have a super and an overshield forever.
Right. I guess that they're just kind of looking at all that stuff and saying, okay, they really want to be an action game. They also want to be an RPG, and they want to balance that. And he directly called out that it's always going to be this weird teeter that has to be done with the game to achieve the vision they have. And one of the first things in what he wrote was that he knows that the game's not where it needs to be yet. He's going to keep overstating the philosophy until they get it right, and then keep iterating on it, because the tone of this really was, we're not where we want to be yet. Idea of what we were trying for with this, trying for with that, where it did work, where it didn't work, what we're trying to fix, things like that. Getting in Gambit a lot. One of the things that was brought up was that on a long enough timeline, they're saying that one of the two Gambit modes are going to have to go. It's either going to be regular Gambit or Gambit Prime, and he's not sure which one, and he wants to get feedback from the community on which one they prefer. Part of the reason that was brought up was that it would be easier to keep that game mode more streamlined, and would also create literal space in the game, so that as they continue to build it, that they're not making this gigantic, unmanageable install size, which is a real problem. So things like that, I think, are it speaks to them looking at practical issues and trying to fix them without just throwing up their hands and saying, well, the game's a terabyte now, deal with it. And I like that.
Having listened to Luke speak before, and having skimmed through what I was able to read of the manifesto tonight, I definitely get the feeling that they don't know where they're going yet. They don't have a clear vision on where they want to end up.
I think things are really going to change when Shadowkeep comes out.
Yeah.
Like,
I think they know where
the
Shadowkeep's going to go, but past Shadowkeep, I'd agree. I don't think that's a bad thing, though. I think
they're prepped.
I mean, obviously, you want to leave it fluid because it's going to change, but it just feels like they don't have a clear direction. They're just throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks, and then kind of going in that direction is what it feels like. And it's been kind of that way ever since we've heard about Destiny. How many reboots and how many times have they said we had to start all over from scratch, or 18 months before the game launch we had to scrap the entire script and start over, and it seems like they just don't have a clear, like, kind of end goal, and then you kind of fill out the meat as you go along, if that makes sense.
Disagree. I disagree in the sense that what is trying to be said with this writing, what they've been trying to tell us since they did that whole announcement of, hey, is what Destiny's future is going to look like. And I think what they decided to do was have a core idea of how they wanted to approach things, what the philosophy was, what the goal of the game as an experience was supposed to be. Now, they may not know how all that content is going to manifest within that framework, but they wanted to really establish the foundation again, because the goals for the game have changed because of the way the game has taken on a life of its own, the way the community's gone, and the opportunities Bungie has to iterate. So, of course, the overall foundation of the game has to change. That in mind, that's why they're making major changes to things like Eververse. They're being transparent about how that works. They're looking at PvP. They're looking at all these different things and trying to rebuild some things in ways that bear on top of, rather than just throwing things wide. They want to make sure that things remain focused and being done with these ideas in mind, so that sustain development, sustain the game, sustain content, sustain community. That's what I hear from all this stuff, because it's when you're talking, if you just took Destiny as it was at launch, Destiny 2 at launch, and then if the spring after that they said, okay, we're going to support this indefinitely, do you think any of us would have any faith that the game would last? Of course not. They had to make major changes to it to have the potential it has now. And I think all this is stating is that we have a lot more work to do before we can say, here's the, basically they're taking everything that's in Destiny now, making the changes, and then there's, at one point they're going to say, this is the base idea of the game, and now we're going to run with it. That's the feeling I get, because they know what they want to achieve. They know the philosophy and the thought process behind it, but like you said, the meat is not yet cut from the bone. They still haven't gotten that.
Let me bring this back around to T, so because we kind of skipped our getting to know you phase. Obviously, we don't know.
We're moving on.
Okay,
to the
what are
third
your
game with him already? Fuck it.
What are your favorite game modes? Like, what activities do you like, and what did you take out of this personally? Because we know what all three of us think, because we unfortunately talk to each other a lot. But like, I mean, are you PvP? I mean, so what did you personally get out, and what kind of activities do you like to do?
I'm a hybrid, honestly, and that doesn't mean I play Gambit. I'm like a mood player, I feel like I want to go and just do some Nightfall stuff. I'll do some Nightfall stuff and PvP. I gravitate towards PvP a little bit more because I'll have to be. I think everyone sort of, unless you're not that great at PvP, nothing wrong with that. But PvP is just more fun to just mindlessly play PvP. So. But I don't know. I guess I'm more of like a hybrid player. I traditionally have been a PvE guy though, so it's weird to say that I play more PvP now. But whatever. It's not the best PvP in the world, but it's still fun. I don't know. I'm not diehard into it, so I think that's why I still have fun with it. I can sort of relax, sort of be like, hey, that guy's lagging really bad. Oh, that guy shot me through the wall. Haha. Next match.
Where do you play at?
Where?
Yeah, PC, Xbox, PS4.
Oh, yeah. All consoles, but PS4 right now, and then everything once cross-save comes. Little on Stadia. I don't think I'm gonna get.
None of us are
The
fucking
closer we
with
get
that.
to that, the less interested I am in it.
None of us are fucking with that.
Yeah.
I honestly would be more
Rent
interested.
games indefinitely, full price.
The
Yeah.
Xbox version of that, I think, is more. What do they call it? The X Live, what, the X Cloud or whatever, looks more interesting than Stadia. So.
Fuck if I know.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh,
That's how much I pay attention.
So think of Stadia, done by Microsoft. Same idea.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Wrong.
I mean, at least Microsoft doesn't give up on shit. You know, not like
What fucking planet did it?
hell they
Fucking what? The fuck did you just say to
HoloLens.
Microsoft?
Oh no,
HoloLens.
it was a total joke.
Shit
God
about
damn it.
HoloLens.
God damn it. It was a joke.
Cue the
Said
fucking
that.
music. I'm about to go off.
You said that way too straight faced.
Oh no, I was thinking of like you know the Kinect, the OG Xbox. They just put that shit to bed. Like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was a joke. Sorry.
Microsoft.
We gotta work on your delivery. I was about to have a fucking seizure.
Yeah,
The Zoom.
Ryan is the human deadpan delivery.
Yeah, yeah. It's all good.
Shotgun. Blam.
Rick's like chugging water, like just to spit it out again.
Take a drink just intentionally to spit it back out.
Yeah.
Fuck, I should have done that. Oh god. Well, there's apparently 3 parts of this fucking thing.
Yeah, there's more than 3 parts. That's why.
I mean, the way I said that sounded really negative just now. It's just 3
No,
parts.
he dumped a ton. It probably took him a while to write this, I would imagine. But
I intentionally tried not to be a dickhead today and succeeded because, like in the first paragraph, I saw a spelling error and I was about to like highlight that and post it on Twitter. I'm like, man, it's too far. It's too
Oh,
far.
you should have made a video.
video.
Just focusing on that. So I disregard everything else after sentence 3. No proofreading.
You asked where, or I guess how I feel, like how it makes me feel. What was the question? It was something like that, right? How does this, even though I didn't read it, how does it make me feel seeing these words in front of my screen? Yes, they're in front of my screen. The words actually levitated off the screen.
I want to buy one of those.
I just liked, I just liked the fact that they were being seemed to be transparent. Being transparent. Full sentences are not my thing. So it was good to see, but I'll eventually read the whole thing and then I'll maybe feel differently. But right now I feel sort of positive about it. Luke Smith does not tend to talk a whole lot like this, you know, outside of like a Vidoc or something like that. You see the whatnot. He's been sort of silent here and there, so seeing him just step up and write something like this that seems to be transparent and sort of letting it all out there, letting the player base know what's going on, why it's going on. Yeah, I think that's good. You know, and as far as where the game is going, you know, I'll agree that they don't know where it's going to end up in the long term right now, which is fine because I think if they had too definite of an idea of where it was going to end up in the long term, then they'd have blinders on and they probably wouldn't be listening to the community or wouldn't be as open to the community feedback as they are. So I like the fact that they, you know, spitball a little bit and see what sticks, because that's how you build a great game nowadays. Because especially a game like Destiny, it's so many layers to the game now. You know, you can't be married to any one of those layers. You have to be willing to shed one and then rebuild another one and do whatever it takes to make the game great. And honestly, the game, what is great about the game, or what we consider great, or what we feel is great, is going to change in another couple months probably. So we have to deal with a player base that's pretty large and definitely diverse, and that's a challenge. So I think honestly, their plan is probably the best that you could hope for. You know, it's like it seems to be working. So just keep going with that.
I mean, we're all grotesquely addicted to it anyway, so I mean...
Yeah, it's really... Yeah, it's repugnant.
None of us are going to stop playing. I'm just throwing this out there.
Probably not.
Yeah, I took 2 months off the game.
They would literally... Go ahead.
2 months off the game, and I still have, you know, over 2,000 hours in Destiny 2. It's one of those things where it's like... the game is, you're either into it or you're not, you know. And you know, anytime I see comments on like, "Oh, I checked out of Destiny" or whatever, it's like, okay, that doesn't mean anything. It means it's not for you. You know, like Watch Dogs.
We all did. At one point.
Yeah, I think everyone
Siege.
took the Curse of Osiris break, even if it was brief.
I really did.
You know? You did? Yeah. I don't know that many people who didn't take any time off around Curse. You know, a lot of people I know that best
Now you do.
they just played it.
Now you
Yeah.
do.
I took a lot of time off. Most people I know, like, they played through it. Like, I played through the campaign. I was just like, yeah, I'm just doing this right now.
During that time, I spent a lot of time bringing new people that never played in and running with them and rerunning the original story and doing all that shit. So I never really took that break. Took a break from Curse, like going into the Impotent Forest was like, no. But playing the game, I didn't take a break from.
Yeah. If I was a nicer guy, I probably would have done what you did.
Oh, this had nothing to do with
like,
this had nothing to do with being nice. So this was my son and some of his friends and shit like that. Not
let me be clear. I'm not a nice guy.
Oh no, I'm a dickhead. Like don't even
clear this up to the record.
right. So no, it was definitely more like a feeling of like fuck, I got to do this, not a let's go do this again.
Yeah. I think that's when I was. That was about the same time that I switched. I streamed on Twitch. I started on Twitch. I'm on Twitch now, but I was on Mixer for a little bit. I think that was the time I switched. It was perfect because I was like, oh man,
It was.
like, no one plays Destiny on this platform. I'm just gonna go play whatever the heck I want. Because at the time, this was like pre-Fortnite, so you could play whatever you wanted. It was awesome. And then Fortnite hit. I was like, yeah. I play Destiny, so this isn't gonna work out so well.
All right, so I wanted to ask you about this because there's a lot of people since Ninja jumped ship and went to Mixer, like they're all like, I'm going to Mixer too.
Oh Christ, we're
Wow,
doing.
that's
we're
to
doing
be
the Ninja
expected
thing.
because now people's eyes got opened. They're like, oh, Mixer worked out for him. He was able. He feels it's worth to go over there despite money and stuff like that. Like he feels safe with his brand. I think it's natural that people look at something like Mixer. It's definitely the number 2 out there. I don't know if like numbers wise, it actually is number 2 because someone said like
YouTube is
YouTube is actually
YouTube is
number
number
2
two.
in numbers. Yeah, but Mixer I think actually is like more competitive to Twitch. Because no one ever goes to YouTube.
It's
from
more
freaking
analogous
Twitch,
experience.
It can.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely could be because it is the other dedicated platform. It's like Coke and Pepsi,
Yeah.
and then you have like
Right.
root beer and shit over in the corner, which is Facebook or whatever. But
I think like
Yeah.
League of Legends or something is like huge on YouTube gaming.
probably
Something that
everywhere.
we're not into.
League of Legends
Something that-
is huge on all of them, I think. But
yeah.
It is.
I think it's natural that people want to go over to Mixer and check it out. I encourage them to do so. It's a great platform, a lot of great people over there. If you're a streamer that's moving over, and you keep your head on your shoulders, do it for the right reasons. It's not like any platform out there. It's a foundation. Don't think of it as like grass being greener or anything like that. There's no grass you should worry about. The grass is like that's who we are. We're the grass. So like it's basically the
Exactly.
same grass on either side. The foundations are different though, which allow the certain types of grass to grow. So there's a different mix of grass, like sort of like on Mixer versus Facebook versus Twitch and stuff. Your content may not work over on Mixer, and I make sure you pay attention to the foundation that Mixer has and whether or not your content will fit over there, because that's more important than who else has gone there. As far as like on the big end, like Ninja doesn't really affect anyone.
The best part about this, though, is it's a huge wake-up call for Twitch, who was kind of off and running away with the race, and now they got dropped back a little bit. They got to take a look and go, oh, shit, we've made some fuck-ups, and big people are leaving.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
think they
he's the biggest.
give a
but
shit.
Good that way at all.
I think they
don't
do.
care
I think
Single shit.
I think Amazon, who owns Twitch, obviously, I don't think they
Right.
care too much down the chain when you get to like the middle management or whatever you want to call them of Twitch. I think they probably care a little bit because they probably have some investment in the community and whatnot. But
They might be a little scared of their jobs.
depends on. Yeah, it depends on. Maybe, but I mean, see, I've done my research on. Sorry, go on.
Oh, I feel like it's a chance or hopefully enough of a wake-up call for them to sit back and go, we've done a couple of boneheaded things. Maybe we should just take a look at how we've treated some people and some of the things that we've done. And then, I mean, the kind of the things they pulled out Ninja, this past week has been kind of shitty too. But,
Yeah, and a couple people messaged me and were like, "Hey, Twitch thing with Ninja, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm thinking Mixer may be the thing for me. And every single one of them, I told them, like, ignore it. It doesn't matter. Mixer is Microsoft. Twitch is Amazon. You're not going to get, like,
going to happen
it's not going to
Mixer.
be this, like,
no...
you know, hunky-dory, you know, sing-along over on Mixer. Twitch isn't toxic.
And honestly, you can see Microsoft pulling
these.
these.
Yeah, it's just the same thing. Sorry, I didn't word that correctly, but yeah, it's like Mixer isn't really any better than Twitch. It's just different.
You can totally see Mixer pulling all of the same boneheaded things. You can see him even doing some more shit sometimes.
Yeah, and they've been smart. I from what I can tell, Mixer hasn't really been like, you know, like jamming in the screwdriver on the side of Twitch and twisting it or anything like that, you know, because Twitch, you know, obviously made some missteps, like we just said with this Ninja thing. So yeah, Mixer's been pretty cool about it. So I don't know.
Like, look at it this way too. Like, one thing I've heard no one mention up to this point is they're like, well, this is going to hurt Twitch's bottom line. I'm like, bullshit. You know, one of the biggest things about Ninja that people talk about, a lot of the bigger streamers, like for a long time, they put out these gag titles on their stream saying Ninja Amazon Prime sub repository, because there was, you know, people that were using their Twitch Prime, the free sub on Ninja. That's how I made a lot of money. Well, if you think about how much money that payout ends up costing, you know, Twitch, and by virtue of association Amazon, saved a shitload of money by him leaving.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure how those financials work personally, but yeah, that could be the case. They could have actually saved some money, which, you know,
think of it like this:
decision to let him leave.
There's gonna be a percentage of people that watched Ninja and only Ninja, always used their Twitch Prime sub on Ninja, that will now not be using that on there, which means that $250 per person that doesn't use that is money that stays in Amazon's fucking pocket.
So bring it over here.
Of raw numbers.
So, twitch.tv/Destiny Unfiltered.
Yeah, they should use them here.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
Use them.
Here, I endorse this.
I'll fully support this. I mean, like, well,
or if they decide to stop doing their Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime subscription,
that's
they
the
can take
next
a portion
step.
of the money spent on that and use it over at patreon.com/Destiny Unfiltered. That would be
for fuck's sake.
There you go. Like this whole Ninja Mixer thing also, like it's like a migration. It's like, and again, it's cyclical.
So
I've used that term a few times. There's been other migrations, mostly from Twitch to Mixer, that have occurred. And, you know, I think it happened when Scythe went over. He was one of the earlier ones. He was a fairly large Twitch channel that
I remember when Angry Iceberg did it.
Yeah, and Angry Iceberg came over. So I went over sort of on my own because I had friends that I had known that streamed for Mixer and were in these little communities that I had joined up with just to meet people when I started streaming, and stayed in touch with them. They were just like, you should come over because, like, you're actually, I feel like you do better over here. It's like a good spot for you. And so I did a lot of research, and it took me like months and months to finally figure out that I would maybe benefit from going over there. And I did. And that's like, yeah, like the second or third, like what I call wave of Twitch streamers that moved over was like the Kevin, Angry Iceberg bunch that all played Destiny. And I was like, whoa. I was like, I actually thought that was going to be the coolest thing ever. But unfortunately, I say that it sounds negative, but
can I interrupt you and ask you all that thought 1 second to respond to a comment? JD, we appreciate the fact that you're just watching, and anything is just, we're just joking about it. So if you feel like donating, great, do it wherever you want, but we just appreciate you tuning in.
Exactly.
So,
I was typing that.
So, all right, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. So Kevin and Angry, they're all great. Don't forget legendary Ladman, you know, who's a pretty well-known Destiny content creator as well, is over there. I'm hidden in. There's more. To put it plainly, so they came over in another wave. There was like this. That was like the second or maybe third wave that came over that I had really took note of, and I thought that was going to be great. Unfortunately, like I said before, I tried not to say that negatively, but it was not the best thing for a lot of content creators over there. they really hung their Mixer really hung their hat on the BR scene. So PUBG, Fortnite, just you know,
Yeah.
So it was like, I tried to switch back to Destiny as Destiny got good, and I was like, this is not really. It was really weak, unfortunately. I think they still have a lot of work to do. To make
It's
sure
a really small Destiny population on that side.
super
of the
small
fence.
Destiny population. If you're not playing BR, it's tough. And I saw a tweet out from a creator that's pretty well known that was saying that they wanted to look at Mixer streams, but they were having trouble finding variety. And I was like, yeah, it's a shame because when I started on that channel, it was awesome. I played variety. I played like random stuff. I started with the Halo series. That was like really made my channel get noticed. Just playing the Halo series from start to finish, and then I started playing like random games. And the only time I played Destiny was actually when I would do workout streams. I would do PvP, and I wasn't that good, or I'd purposely play bad and just like mess around and get killed a lot. And I'd take the number of deaths and do workouts, and that was like the only time I played Destiny. But that's the point of that is that I did random stuff, it sort of worked, and people enjoyed it, and it was successful over there. So that there is that potential there. Twitch already has everything. So if Mixer can figure out how to get the variety a little more diverse, and not hang their hat so hard on the BR scene, then I think they'll really start putting a dent in the Twitch's market share. But they just bought Ninja, who's one of the biggest BR streamers plays mostly Fortnite.
Is this a condition of Xbox though, being that they really are so integrated with Xbox, and Xbox's current lineup of games is just I don't want to sound negative, but fuck it, it's garbage.
No,
there is not a good selection of games right now over there. So
there's not. I agree, and yeah, they are too married with Xbox still, and I don't know this for a fact, but I've heard it twice now recently that apparently before Mixer was Mixer, it was called Beam, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's correct.
That was when Microsoft bought it. It switched over to Mixer,
right.
Not that long after. But apparently it had been like an Xbox only platform for like a short period of time, or at some point, like they didn't even have any PlayStation streamers.
You didn't have a way to jack into it unless you were on Xbox, if I remember right. Where you had to have an Xbox Live or something.
Somehow limited, and PlayStation was like the void. There was literally no one playing PlayStation on the platform.
Right.
When I got there, that wasn't the case, but it really hurt to play PlayStation because if you played a game like Destiny where people can join in easily while you're playing, it was, there was no one there on PlayStation. Everyone would be like, "Oh, what's your Xbox gamer tag?" I'm on PlayStation. They're gone. It's like, what? They have a very young. I think they have a younger viewer base. I have to check the numbers. I'm sure there's data on that, but I'm pretty sure they have on average a younger viewer.
That makes
The
a lot of sense.
trolls are a lot more benign on Mixer than they are on Twitch. Like if somebody comes in to troll you on Mixer, it's like,
it's obvious.
You're dumb.
You're
like, wait, what?
So obvious they're 13 years old. Yeah. I had a set of 20 phrases that were auto banned in my channel and then get whispered. It was stuff like "INV me" and "you are trash," stuff like that. That was it. That was the trolling. It was literally 20 little like mini phrases like that I was easily able to filter them out. So, but honestly, if you just don't play Fortnite or PUBG or Apex or anything, then you don't have to worry about it. No one comes in to troll unless you're playing those games. So.
There's some features on Mixer I wish were available on Twitch, like for like multi-streaming. It's so freaking easy on Mixer.
I like the boards. Do you guys know about the what do you call it? I can't remember what they're called now, but the board, the interactive board.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the interactive boards are freaking slick, and to set those up and do everything that you can do with them, and partners get more features. They had introduced a lot of features that I was able to use before I left. It was like when I left, all the time I put into that is like,
you can let
so
viewers
cool,
play your game as they're watching you. Like you can give control over to a viewer, and they're playing your game on your stream.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, certain games had that, and then it was just like normal like play sounds, play gifs, and things like that. It was still fun. I liked it. It was fun.
If you're good at PvP and Destiny, come find me on Mixer. I'll be happy to give up control.
And that's how I got my recluse.
Starting tomorrow.
And before Ryan fires up an Xbox and streams to Mixer for an audience of one because he called me and says, "Can you play my character for a couple hours?" Sure. And
Oh, Jesus God. I don't even know how to get
I don't know if you guys wanted to talk about the Mixer thing anymore, but I guess, you know, if not, the last thing I'll say is Mixer's a great platform.
Go ahead.
Definitely go watch it. If you're a content creator, watch it. If you're a viewer, watch it. That's one thing. Just make sure you watch it a lot before you come to any conclusions. Because I think a lot of people
it's a really different flavor.
Yeah, a lot of people are probably moving over right now that probably didn't think through as much as they should have, even though they thought they did, and probably haven't even watched a whole lot of streams over there. If you've only watched streams for a couple days to a week and you decide to move over there, it's not enough, man. It's definitely not enough. You need to do your homework. Like, a lot of people take streaming seriously, even if they consider it a hobby and fun. They take it seriously, and you should, because it's content creation, it's creative stuff, and you're putting yourself out there to do what you want to do, and, you know, whether it's entertain, make people laugh, you know, teach people things, whatever. You know, it's important to you to be on there, take it seriously, think it through. And don't get into the drama of it. Remove yourself. Super important, I think.
The biggest takeaway is
discount that shit.
Give it a try and see if you enjoy it also. I mean, what's wrong with going over there and doing a test sample for a little while, see if you like it. You might find that you fit better, or you might find that you're just used to how Twitch works, and fuck it. You just rather go back, you know.
I
did a couple
on
test
both.
streams.
Oh, good.
That's it. I did a couple test streams.
I was gonna say I streamed on both. It just depended on what friends I wanted to play with that day, because it was easier for them. Because I streamed, but it wasn't like I was streaming to have a bunch of viewers. I was just streaming because my friends were streaming and I'm playing with them. So if the friends I was playing with were on Twitch, I would stream on Twitch. If they were on Mixer, I was streaming on Mixer, because it was just easier for them to sort out, like the chats and the multis and everything. But I mean, I had fun regardless. As long as I was just having fun. But I have friends that stream on Mixer, have been streaming on Mixer for a long time, and I mean, they're not going in there with the motivations to get rich and famous. They're going in there for they want to talk to people and have, you know, want to play games, have fun, but they want to talk to their friends and or being successful at it, but they're having a good time. And that's, I mean, anyways. Jim's screen is fucking with me right now.
I know, it's distracting as hell.
My ADD, you can't. It's just too much visual stimulus.
I've got it on 3 monitors here. You should really. It's like, oh my god, to see all the little squares bouncing around. Now it's all gray. It's like,
thank God I'm not susceptible to epilepsy.
I'm so glad this is an audio podcast and we're having all these visual problems.
Same.
I'm just glad I can hear everyone. I'm glad everyone is here. Oh shit. I had questions, and I forgot to look them up, so never mind.
What, Twitter? Twitch? What? Where?
I had questions from Twitter, and I've written them down, and yeah,
right.
This is fine.
Totally cool.
So,
now I can't even turn the damn thing off.
Let's start back here, since we did skip the opening. You know, where did you come from, and how do you do things? How did you get into Destiny? Where does your story start with Destiny?
Well, it starts at a old schoolhouse north of Baltimore, where I lived with my then girlfriend, fiance, now wife. We had our house robbed, and a lot of stuff got stolen, and including the PS3 that we used occasionally. Mostly used it to watch TV, and I'd play some games in the evenings just to relax and unwind. But I'd play like single player games. Like, I love the Batman Arkham series, Assassin's Creed. Those are my 2 favorites. So we need a new PlayStation. So I was like, all right, let's get a PlayStation 4, because they were already out. And first one we got, Walmart on sale, didn't work, brand new. Took it back. The only one they had to replace it was a white Destiny Special Edition, the original. So Destiny had already been out. I played it at a friend's house. So I sort of knew what it was, but it didn't click. I was like, whatever, just give me the damn PlayStation. I just want to play Batman. So I took it home and told my friend I got it, and he was like, "Oh, Destiny, yeah." I was like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "You should get that and like get the online and do all this stuff." It's like, "Oh, I don't know." I was like, "I don't really talk to people while I play games. I just want to zone out and play video games." Well, lo and behold, you know what happened? I don't have to finish the story now. So yeah, that's how I got into Destiny. It was just sort of happenstance, man. I didn't really want to play the game that bad, but then I started playing the game, and once I started playing it, I literally couldn't stop. So, yeah, there you go.
I just don't believe your house got robbed in North Baltimore.
No, north of Baltimore. This is like in the country, man. This isn't in the city.
Oh.
This is actually in the country. So Baltimore, if you are not familiar with the landscape of Baltimore, it's actually a really small city. And as soon as you leave like the city limits, it's like there's nothing there. It's country. It's horse farms and other stuff. It's not a whole lot of asphalt.
There to
So we
warn
were
you that
living
people
Sounds
don't
like
drive
home for
to
me.
Delaware.
Yeah, we were living like 30 minutes north. And
Oh, yeah, you were out there
farms
then.
around us. Yeah, but we were close enough to the highway, and the problem was people like pick houses off, as they like travel up and down the highway. So ours, unfortunately, had a nice chunk of land with some trees around it. You couldn't really see. We were both gone at the time, and yeah, my wife got home before me. Doors busted open. They had been in the house for like a couple hours, just rooted around. Like literally everything got rooted through. But they didn't take that much because they were only looking for specific things. But they just made sure they got every single specific thing they wanted.
But they got the PlayStation.
Yeah, PlayStation camera. I used to race mountain bikes, so I had like a couple expensive downhill helmets, or they were for enduro racing. But yeah, like carbon fiber helmets and shit. They stole those. I thought they were motorcycle helmets. So hopefully they rode them on a motorcycle crash and killed themselves. I'd be okay with that.
Wow.
Now that's the content
Hey,
I
man.
came here to create, folks. I hope that they
I hope- I hope they're fucking
we're
dead.
not wealthy. We're not. I don't really, but you wish bad things upon people
I'm
that
okay with it.
break into your house and ruin your sense of security. I didn't really.
Oh yeah, it messes
feel
with
like-
your head.
Yeah, it messed with my head for like a night, because like we had a busted door, so it took a day or two to get the door fixed. So I was like, it was actually at night I was fine. I was like, there's no way if they're dumb enough to come in the house at night. I'd be worried, but I wasn't worried about that so much. I was just worried about during the daytime. I was like, great, now the door's open, and what if someone else decides to hit the house?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's
You
just,
got
it's
nothing
just-
left though after the first one, so you're probably all right.
Yeah, but it's a big
I didn't go to work
psychological
for it.
hit when
I
somebody
took,
breaks
like-
in your house.
Yeah, my wife,
Oh,
she was shook up from it a little bit.
I was broke into
Yeah.
twice, so
Yeah. Yeah, I knew a guy. You want to talk about Baltimore? We're going to go off the rails here for a second. A good friend of ours in Baltimore was out running. This is like 4 or 5 years ago. And he had just finished his run. He's like at the front door of his house. Think of like a row home in Baltimore, You sort of know like general row homes in Baltimore. Like they're like your pretty standard run-of-the-mill 2-story row home with front stoop and tiny front stoop steps. And so he just got finished his run, was grabbing his keys, and someone like attacked him in front of his house, and like basically pushed him as he was unlocking the door. I think it was because he was pushed inside the house, and was like basically pushed him inside the house and like was attacking him. Didn't know like why the guy was doing it. Like 30 seconds long, like, had to beat the guy off of him, like beat him out of the house. Like what? No reason. Like you never.
It's a rough city, bro.
Yeah, that's like.
Yeah.
But that happens in Philly. I grew up around Philly. Like that happened.
Oh yeah.
There was like an epidemic of like gangs of kids that were roaming around, just like beating people up randomly. That was going on for like a year.
I lived in Washington, D.C. when Marion Barry was still mayor the second time. That was a fun time to be in D.C. I'll say that.
Oh, I bet.
Interesting.
It's great. It's great. It was a very, very calm, reasonable city with very, level-headed people in it.
so
Absolutely.
I have a break-in story to share with you guys. Now, this did not happen to
Oh,
me.
for fuck's sake.
Oh, you'll love this, Rick. So the irony of this story is just awesome. So a buddy of mine was living in Bloomington, Indiana, in an apartment. He was in an apartment building, and the apartment building was rented out to a lot of college kids and stuff. So on the weekends there'd be a lot of drunk parties or whatever going on. And he's one of those guys that can sleep through anything. So, and he came home on a Friday night, and there's parties going on, music and noise and everything. He goes in, just crashes the fuck out. During this party, somebody breaks into his apartment. They come in, they root around in his living room. Now, understand, this is the winter time. Okay, so this is all going on. It's cold as fuck, but, you know,
Right.
kids and, you know, alcohol, they don't give a shit about the cold. He starts to hear somebody in his apartment and starts to break awake. He goes running out onto the front porch in his underwear. This guy is running down the stairs with his Xbox, gets down to the bottom of the stairs and realized that where he had parked his car was up at the top of the hill and there was ice that built, you know, that he parked on top of. That his car slid down the hill, crashed into my buddy's car, where he was able to then catch the guy, get his Xbox back, and file charges and get the guy, you know, for an accident also.
Got the guy for hitting his car too.
Mm-hmm.
I just love every time Ryan tells a story. Like we sit here, it's like I was in Detroit, I was in Cleveland, I was in New Orleans, and Ryan chimes like, there I am in Boise, Idaho.
I wasn't. I had nothing to do with it. I was at home.
So I'm in Des Moines, right? You fucking hick.
Yep. Wife and I own a horse farm. So, most of my t-shirts have a picture of the General Leon.
I can't segue out of that. Jesus God, man. My powers are limited.
Jim, do you have a breaking story?
I'm just sitting here going,
Jim, do you have a breaking
The
story?
one thing I forgot to ask T, what do you have a main or do you just play all three characters?
Warlock has been traditionally the first character I start on new expansions, and I used to only have Warlocks, but lately I've been playing a lot of Titan, and I can't like really get myself to be excited to play Hunter unless it's like a specific activity where like a specific ability is like super OP. You know, like I'll play the Hunter if it makes sense at the time, but I don't know. I don't hate Hunters. It's just like for some reason, I'm like, I like the way they jump sometimes. It's fun to like jump and like sneak around and you know like sort of drop below a ledge and then jump back up and shotgun people in PvP and stuff. But like I could just run around as a Titan. You know, get there fast enough. Get there faster than they could shoot me.
I played a Hunter one day with a buddy of mine to like help him out he had started a new character. I'm like, well, I got a Hunter I've never played. I can jump on with you. And the very first jump, we were on Titan, and I just fell completely off the ledge and died. Like, first jump of the game, period, because I tried to Titan skate across the ledge. I'm like, all right, so this is going to be fun.
It's different.
Oh, only day I've ever played it.
We still don't have Bones of Arrow. Like, come on, man. Like, help us Warlocks out. What? Are they in the game? They're not in the game.
They're not in the game.
What, Bones? No.
Yeah, they're not. I was gonna say, wait, did I just like say something extra dumb? I'm used to saying dumb shit. I try to stay away from the extra
They're
dumb.
just never bringing it back.
That's the requirement to be on this show. You have to say dumb shit.
I'm okay with Bones coming back as long as Titans can get Twilight Garrison. I'm all right with it.
Yo, as long as it didn't take a shader.
I mean, I'm all right with the powder blue if I have to. But I agree
Are you?
wholeheartedly that it should take a shader, but I mean,
Well,
if
it
it's
did
on
take
the
a
table,
shader at the end, right? Didn't they change it?
like the last 3 days, they let it finally interact with the shader.
Game is over.
I can get super black finally. Yes.
Yo, if they actually had a legit like black shader. Why?
You know the answer to this, don't you? You actually know the answer to why we don't have a black shader.
Actually, I don't.
They've addressed this before. The reason being is hiding in PvP. If you had all black on, and you could hide in shadows and crowds and stuff, and you would be impossible to see, and they say it would lead to more camping, and they addressed this at one point. I can't remember. I think it was right at the end of D1 they talked about it.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. I use like bright shaders on my characters a lot.
I have a thoughtful response to that. I really do.
Good.
And it goes something like this. Fuck you, I want a black shader. I don't care. I'll take the risk. All right.
I mean, that's legitimate points.
People camp anyway. They'll camp in their bright pink or whatever the fuck. I don't give a shit.
Sitting in the back of the map, hard pulsing, just crouching.
I haven't tried this, but I'm gonna do it either tonight or tomorrow. If you're in a PvP match and you drink one of those tinctures from Dreaming City, would it turn you into like your void skin? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
No, because it only works on Dreaming City.
It's only. In
What if you're on that
City.
Dreaming City map though, bro?
That counts, dude.
So if you drink it, you'll start to look all taken and stuff.
I don't know.
There's got to be a video on this somewhere.
If not, there might be if it works.
But you're not really black. You're sort of
Rick is like
glowing a
low
little
key just
bit.
trying to get his guardian drunk instead of fighting. Like, look, man, that's why I hang out. Angry. Yeah.
My dog is staring at me through the window right now.
Hey guys, look at my booth.
Destiny BR, you have like drink tinctures to gain shields, and instead of med kits, you like pick up ghosts and just chomp down on them, hamburgers.
Oh,
like-
damn it! Turk says that it doesn't work. Back.
His character vomits on an opponent, and the guy's like, ugh, and just like walks away confused. How's it go? He's like,
I
ugh.
would like to get some edgier emotes in the future, being that Activision isn't around anymore.
I would like vomiting. I think vomiting would be good.
We
Vomiting.
Deuce.
need a man at arms emote where he's just standing there with a bottle of whiskey, downing it and chucking it.
Well, I mean, you could have like the vomiting inside of your helmet emote.
Yeah, you could do
Like,
that.
Just it's like frantically
I'd like to
trying to
see-
wipe off his mask.
There should be like a slapstick where you can get like slipping on a banana peel, pie in the face. That'd be a good multiplayer emote. Do a pie in the face.
I like that.
Oh shit!
Three Stooges.
Oh no, I was
stuff.
reading the chat. Sorry.
JD
Oh well, let's do this. If anyone has any questions in the chat, now is your 5 minutes of glory. Go.
So, while we're waiting
Yeah,
for
and
those
bear
to
in
drop,
mind-
Enter
that,
your questions and pass through the gates of Valhalla. Wait, I'm sorry.
while we're waiting for those to drop, I want to ask everybody this question: do you know anybody who's been banned, and for what they were banned for?
Banned
Banned
for.
From the game,
Destiny,
like game,
Twitch?
like no,
Destiny?
banned from Destiny.
Oh, I don't think I've
Like
no. I don't think
personally?
I've known anyone.
Okay. So I had
I
a,
mean,
No anyone that's
Stories.
stupid.
I've churned in a few people. Like I've put player reports in on.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic PlayStation gamer tags
Oh,
that
yeah.
PlayStation Network lets go through.
Right, but that's not exclusive to Destiny though.
No, those are PlayStation.
so
Right.
without getting into details, I had a friend get banned. I mean, and his name is not something that he would ever get banned for. It's real simple. And, yeah, but I do know why he got banned. He had some cheating software on his PC that he was using for another game, and he got nailed for and I don't know if the situation is that it was active and he I know he wasn't using it like to play the game and got nailed, but it may have been active and running and the Destiny app caught it or the Bungie app or Blizzard app or whatever caught it and he got busted. I don't know what the whole story was, but one thing I kind of noticed is Bungie has no customer support in the way of like getting a hold of them to find out exactly what happened in that situation, and they also don't tell you why. So like it very well could be that he like cussed out an 8-year-old kid in chat, but like I legitimately know the guy had cheating software, so I'm assuming that this is the reason. But there is no customer support. Like, hey, what the fuck is going on here? Like, because
No.
I've gotten some errors before because of like RGB lighting software on my PC, and it'll come up and say, it's not Destiny, but other games will come up and say, hey, this reports back as cheating software, so you turn it off or don't log in, kind of thing. And so I just was curious, like, have you guys ever run into any customer support issues with Bungie? Have you ever seen or tried to get a hold of them for anything?
I think I've heard
gotten,
that. Like they're hard to get a hold of. Like,
I've
there's
gotten
no-
support for getting
not
banned
hard.
on the Bungie forum. That's about
Oh
it.
yeah.
I mean, well, I
It
would
wasn't
imagine
that they didn't overturn anything. They just told me why I got banned. I was like, oh yeah, I did
Well,
say that.
okay, so
That seems legitimate.
I find that
do
a little
apologize.
shitty that they'll come and tell you why on the forum, but they won't tell you in the game why you actually got banned. You know?
Yeah, but when I got banned big. It was out there. There were stories. The only person. Well, I've mentioned the gamer tag judgment show that Log used to do. Have I talked about this on the podcast?
I don't
before?
think so.
Log used to, like, this is going way back on in D1. Log used to do a Twitch stream, and it was a show. It was called Gamer Tag Judgment, and you submitted people with just horrible fucking gamer tags.
Oh, by the way, we're announcing a new segment. Oh.
Oh no, it doesn't work. Wait till the end of the story, fucker. You retract this. So anyway, so basically, viewers would over the course of the week would submit the gamer tags of people they came across in the Crucible or whatever, and then he'd sit down with some of the guys and they'd talk about it for like 20-30 minutes. And you know, we've all seen some really out there gamer tags in the kill feed. You know, like they exist. Well, whoever they decided was the winner, he would send them like a $10 Microsoft gift card for Xbox Live card, or, you know, a month of free Xbox Live. Well, people started to get banned because attention was being brought to these people's gamer tags because people who work for Bungie were tuning in and watching the show, and they're like, well, you can't have that as a fucking gamer tag. So these people were getting fucking banned. And then it eventually came back full circle. Law couldn't do the show anymore because he could not post anything about it on the Bungie forum because it technically fell underneath naming and shaming. So he couldn't even promote it anymore. So which he reached out to one of the guys that we know that was a moderator, and he explained it to him. So he was like, yeah, this is why we can't let you post this anymore. He's like, well, fuck, I have no way to ever promote it. So next episode in life. Well, yeah, we accidentally got a bunch of people banned, apparently.
Accidentally.
Accidentally. I peed in your butt. Yes, yeah. This would be a good example of a PSN ID. My personal favorite, which you may or may not have heard this before, I used to play, and it was on Xbox, it was Old Satan's Anus. And I had both killed and had been killed by Old Satan's Anus, and we actually, that's how we know about this. We got Old Satan's Anus banned on accident, and we apologized to the dude profusely. But he won a free month of Xbox Live, so I mean, it was a trade-off
for his new
account that he had to start.
Shit like that's gonna happen sometimes.
Christ! All right, we're hitting that wall. Is there anything else that we need to discuss about the Destiny manifesto that was released earlier today?
Absolutely not.
It was fine.
I would rather see Luke Smith in a thong at this point.
As long as
I mean, they did say they were experimenting with the format, so you might get your wish. So Luke, if you're listening,
he's not
on video in the thong, Rick will, you'd be surprised. Just saying.
Do a Cisco parody
for the next one.
A Cisco parody.
Oh, we're gonna need Log's help if we're doing parodies now.
I'm out. Well, T, do you have any like events coming up? Anything you're involved with? Projects or anything to plug besides yourself?
Yeah, what are you working on?
Working on being more than just a dude that plays video games on Twitch. Yeah, I've been playing around with some ideas, so in the background. So I don't know, nothing event-wise though.
Anything you can share, or is it still in like the idea?
I'm trying to. Did you guys? So I started to try to make the parody thing. Is I mentioned that because I started to make parody videos, or I made one. But I'm really, really bad at video editing, so it came out bad. But I had fun doing it, and I think I'm going to start putting out try to make parody videos of Destiny-themed stuff. So, yeah, I made one about the Mida, so if you saw that. but I want to do better.
No, but I will see it as soon as this is over.
All right. So we do have one question kind of that popped into the chat. I want to know how the hell they totally missed the target so bad on the tribute hall. 50 tributes and no golden statue of Kate 6.
Down with that.
Discussion?
I agree.
That's interesting. I didn't think about it. Did I even get all 50?
There'd be
I don't think I did.
statues. I think there'd be statues for everybody.
He said that the first thought that I had is Rick's video of when they had the what's the fall event that they do, and Rick was like, some old guy, some other old guy, Kate 6.
Oh yeah. And a guy I'm going to call Chocolate Thunder.
Yes.
Remember they had the memorial of all the dead Guardians? I mean, was I the only person that like kept walking around like, I don't know who the fuck any
No,
of these
I don't
people
think
are.
anybody knew who they were except for Kate.
Oh, Kate. It was like I knew the speaker. It was like they had all the heads in the boxes, the holograms in front of the tree. It was like I knew the speaker. I knew Kate 6. Is like, who the fuck are all the rest of these people, bro?
I vaguely remember that. I don't remember.
I
They
didn't
were
remember
all
until
from
he
the
had brought
lore,
it up just
right?
now.
They
Yeah.
were all from the lore, right?
But nobody knows that.
Explain what
guess.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
lore hounds, lore whores know it.
Lore horrors.
Can't take credit for that.
I
I
try to get into the lore, but it goes so deep, and it's like, damn,
It's
none of this shit's in the game, and it starts to get boring and
it's
tedious.
daunting to go back through all of this.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I do appreciate like
Yeah.
the work that Myelin, Blythe, and those guys do, though. That makes it a little easier because then you
Definitely.
can watch a video once in a while and sort of like be in the know. But
So
yeah,
we
It's like
we
the same
reached
thing
out.
about like anything.
yeah.
So we
Star Trek, Star Wars, Marvel comics, they all have like dark corners of the story that if you're just a casual observer from the story perspective, you're not going to know all that extended stuff. So, this game is no different than any of that stuff.
we
Like,
we
like
Star
reached-
Wars is
Trek fans, they
notorious
don't
for
read all
having
the
tons
novels
of-
and shit.
Yeah,
So-
Star Wars is
Right.
notorious for having canon that's out of the movies. Like most of the story is out of the
Yeah.
movies at this point.
we had
Right, and I guess it's like, but I think with Destiny, because it is something that is so engaging, that so many people enjoy, there is this kind of feeling that like you feel like you should be into the lore. Like there's almost this weird, I don't want to call it guilt, but you feel like you're not getting the whole experience if you're not fully into the lore. But I'll tell you, all my friends that are like super into the lore, super into the game anymore. They're like more interested in the lore than the game, and I'm like, I'll play the game, thanks, I'm good.
so this was
I'll watch a few videos and catch up.
before Jim was with us. We had a young lady who came on who was a lore nerd, and during the course of the conversation, we found out she was also employed by NASA. And Rick and I walked away from that podcast realizing that you have to be one smart son of a bitch to understand the lore of Destiny.
Yeah.
That was all we learned that night, and she told us stories all night long. And we literally hung up and went, "We're way too dumb for this conversation."
Just sat here and just like,
Yeah.
really?
No, it's super in depth and like the layers of storytelling that are involved in the lore. It's crazy. It's definitely
Impressive. It really is.
Yeah, it's really impressive. So yeah, I
No,
agree.
it's-
You have to be like an astrophysicist to really.
The
She
example
literally
was
was a
like
rocket
Star
scientist.
Wars.
Yeah.
No, she built planets for NASA in simulations.
Oh,
That's
that's
a
cool.
whole other conversation. Oh no, like this. One of the smartest people I've probably ever spoken to in my life. It's like what do you do? She's like, okay, well, I simulate planets so scientists know where not to point their telescopes because they have to spend a bunch of money to do it.
The
Right.
only
Okay.
question I could come up with for her the whole night was, where are the moon landing sites? And is Area 51 actually where they hold the aliens? Those are the only questions I could come up with for her.
Something tells me that a world modeler for NASA probably doesn't know the aliens.
Oh, she's probably talking to them aliens, like, what's on your planet?
She is an alien.
Probably.
Dude, plot twist.
She made a
I'm
planet
not
that
saying
looked
it's
like
aliens, but it's aliens.
I can't.
I love
I
that
can't
show.
speak.
It's so dumb, but I love that.
A guy at work asked me that today. He goes, have you ever seen it? And I'm like, yes, I've seen it. And I did the exact same impression Jim just did. He's like, dude, I just saw my first episode last night. I'm hooked. I'm like, oh God, dude.
It's
God bless.
if you want, if you have an open mind about things, I think the series is worth watching because it sort of covers all of like the general like popular stuff in terms of ancient alien theory and all. It's interesting to watch, but it's
We're gonna
definitely
have
like
we're gonna have to do a night.
Me,
Where we
I
just
don't
talk
have to
about
watch
shit
that
like
show
that.
to know that I believe aliens exist.
I
and have
love
been here.
ancient alien like stuff.
I know way too much about this shit.
Yeah, I have a coworker that actually talks at like symposiums and shit on that stuff. That's not what we do for work.
The same guy today. He's like, "Have you ever heard of a place called Gobekli Tepe or something like that?" I'm like, "Dude, I told you about that 6 fucking months ago." He was like, "I didn't understand. I saw it last night." It's like if there's a
Talking about like
conspiracy
the
theory.
flat top, like you're talking about the flat top hills, but they look like
No,
they
this
have,
is an actual city they found. It's an archaeological dig, so they figured it was like 10,000 years old, and now there's a. I mean, obviously it's debatable, but they think it's now like as old as 50,000 years old, and it's one of those things where it monolithic build city,
yeah, like way
10
too
ton
advanced for
monolith.
as old as it is, type of thing.
It's one of those places like the stones are put together so tightly like you can't jam a business card through it, but they weigh 10 tons, but it's like a city, and then there's the world's oldest religious temple is inside of it, so it's kind of like, oh well. And it's like really cool, like instead of having like carvings in the rock, like there's one really cool carving, like if you Google it, it'll pop up, but it's a carving of a panther, but they carved the panther out. The panther's on top of the rock, like on the side of it in 3D. Like they didn't carve in and make a panther. They took all the rock away on this one side to leave only the panther, and it's like 30 feet high, and you're just like, dude, that's sick. How?
Yeah, I mean,
how?
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that
It's a
stuff.
sculpture of a big pussycat. Cool and everything, but
It's not really about what it's of; it's how it was done. That's sort of like
I get the
that's
how,
some
bro.
of this stuff.
The how?
well, then you look at like the whole crystal skull thing, like that stuff. Like it's all legitimately interesting to me.
Yeah.
For me though, it's just every time because I'm a documentary buff. I love a good documentary, but so many of these fucking TV shows, like they're at this point, they're taking what should be a 10-minute YouTube video and stretching it to a half hour. They repeat themselves.
Like
before
a
and
lot of
after
these
the
shows.
commercial break.
Yeah, a lot of these
I
shows
just- I
they
can't.
repeat themselves a lot because of the commercials. Yeah, you're right. There's really only 10
I
minutes of
can't.
content in these shows, which is a bummer. But yeah, there's some better YouTube videos out there for ancient
absolutely.
alien stuff and all that crap.
Same thing. Like that's why I watch like Rob Dyke sometimes, not all the time, but once in a while I'll catch his stuff because he does a lot of really great spooky material. Like
Yeah, I'm not familiar
weird.
with that.
check him out, Rob Dyke.
All right.
Well, he changed his name because his last name. I forget it now. So Gaffigan. Gallifin, I don't know what that fucking. Just look up Rob Dyke. You'll find his real name and his YouTube channel. But like he does a lot of like stuff on like shadow people and like unsolved mystery type stuff, unsolved murders, and he does a lot of research and makes it really engaging. And it's funny, dude. On top of that, he's got a great show called "Why Would You Put That on the Internet," which is it's fucking hilarious. People like that are, I find that more interesting. But for whatever reason, like I like my documentaries to be like have a beginning, middle, and end, but the ongoing series, anything that begins to even remotely approach what we now call reality TV, I just can't with that shit. So I try to find somebody.
Do you actually watch TV anymore? I mean, really?
Not
I actually
really.
don't have TV.
Yeah.
I haven't had cable for years, man.
I have
God
cable.
bless.
I have cable in my house because my father lives with me and he likes to watch local sports. We're in the Cleveland area, so we watch the Browns and the Indians and stuff like that. That's the only reason why we still have it. And if we could cut it, it'd be gone. But
I'm watching
Hey, man,
Amazon
get
Prime
that-
right now off
Get
camera.
that Disney
right?
Plus. Get that Disney Plus bundle, man. You get ESPN Plus. Watch everything.
Yep.
Okay.
And then,
more
and
cable.
of course, they look at PS View, for example. You can get local channels with that, and they've got a good DVR thing on it. That's pretty good shit, actually. I actually really enjoyed it when I had it. Someday
I
I'll
have
get it
all
back.
of the cable, so you know, I have all of it.
But like,
I have cable. I don't even know that I
did-
have.
when I did have View, I got really, really, really addicted to American Ninja Warrior because I was a huge fan of the original Suzuki Ninja Warrior. Originally got into it when it was on G4, but then I was like, American Ninja Warrior is like the really homogenized version of it, but it's still fun to watch. But man, I would just cook up some dinner, grab a beer, and I would sit and watch it. And I would just watch it for like hours. So like when I was doing content creation mostly full time alongside of like a lot of freelance work, I was doing a lot of free time, a lot of downtime. So I'd like stream for 4 or 5 hours, do some freelance work to pay the bills. 8 hours with nothing that I have to do. I feel like sitting in the game or anywhere else, like go in my living room and watch Ninja Warrior for like fucking 8 hours. Same
That's
thing
a
next
lot of
day.
Ninja Warrior.
That's a lot
Dude.
of Ninja Warrior. I don't think I could watch Ninja Warrior for
Watch
that amount of time, but maybe like, what's that show that had the obstacle course that was like freaking like off the wall? And I think it was Japanese.
Oh, MXC.
Yeah,
See.
Most Extreme Challenge. Yeah, I could watch that for 8 hours. That shit.
Oh yeah, right, you are, kid.
Kenny Blankenship, dude.
Wow.
Dude, I have
really
all those
bad.
episodes.
The only thing I
have
can watch
all
for
of them.
8 hours are like the stupid ass superhero shows like Flash and Supergirl and all that crap. That's what I spent.
Oh.
It's 8 hours a week is all I watch, and that's
I used
it.
to watch all the CW stuff, man. I can't anymore.
The Shirtless Boy Network.
I feel those shows are so dumbed down. Like, Arrow was pretty good. Flash was pretty good for for those shows. Like, I think I don't even want to call them pretty good. They were watchable, I thought. And then after that, it was like.
Well,
I
I'm
heard
also talking to a
Batwoman
guy who can binge watch Night
is
Court
coming out
without
soon. I
even
sort of wanna
thinking
try
about
it.
it. So
I want to see Batwoman, just because I like that actress.
I love Batman stuff. Batman is my thing. So like as far as comic book characters and comic lore, I love Batman stuff. So I'll watch it just to see if it's good. But I don't expect much out of it.
Yeah, I go into these things with no expectations, and it tends to work out.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
he approaches
Like, basically,
TV and
you
shows
get
the way he
surprised.
approaches
That's what I
life.
like at him. I'll start. Have you? Well, obviously, none of you have seen The Boys. It's on Amazon.
I've seen it.
I haven't
That
touched
show
it.
is
I've watched
fucking
it.
amazing.
Oh,
Jim, that show's fucking amazing,
fucking
bro.
amazing.
It's fucking amazing. I'm about to start buying the comic books to go back. It's fucking amazing.
JD says
Oh,
Supernatural
here's
is awesome.
Use that digital subscription. I think it makes
Yes.
it.
It's not
Yeah.
cheaper because if I get into it, I'm gonna buy like all 12 volumes,
No,
so it's gonna be
I mean,
like
it's as cheap
200
as-
something.
Yeah.
I thought I was
I
gonna get
think
out of it.
The
Go ahead.
Boys only lasted. I don't even think it's still a run. I think that wasn't it in the 80s or 90s? It's an old comic book now. I don't think
It started
yeah,
out.
so.
It started out at DC, and DC said this is too edgy.
Oh
So
yeah, it was
they
super
shit canned
messed
it.
up. Yeah.
And then I can't remember the company,
When
but another
Edgelord
company.
DC's that was too edgy. Yeah.
Yes, legitimate. They're like, this is way too violent for DC. We can't do this. And I can't remember who picked it up afterwards, but
Yeah, 'cause it doesn't have a
You
DC
know,
tag
we'll run
in
we'll
the
run a
show,
book in the
so.
late '80s of Joker keeping Batgirl, but sure,
And
this
we'll
is too edgy.
no,
Fucking
no,
great.
dude.
They also
dude,
make
you have
movies
no
where the
idea.
entire word that's spoken is Martha.
But no, no, it ended up running for like 75 issues.
Yeah. Let that sink in for a minute. That was
Yeah, you
literally
could probably
half the
get the
dialogue.
entire collection in one book.
I'm looking.
If not now, I bet you soon. The show's on, and I'm sure they'll reprise the comic. I'm sure they'll-
And this is how we feel about Luke Smith's manifesto.
We barely talked about it. No, I don't want to downplay that stuff. And it's important that considering how much we play the game, the hours we put into it, it's important that they do that. But it came out, and like the only thing I mentioned about it on Twitter, not that my Twitter is like the hottest thing going, but I just said like, get ready for the multi-page, breakdowns of the multi-page director's cuts or whatever. It's like basically like everyone's gonna have their say and write about it and Twitch, do their live streams, titles about it and all that shit. I'm just like, whatever.
Just waiting for Fallout to do a video.
Yeah, there's other people with a lot more time on their hands.
Dude, it was out before
successfully
7.
than me.
I'm sure Fallout had the video done before the post went live.
It's not like he had to record footage.
Dude,
Just run some B-roll.
Like,
he is so prolific. It's amazing.
I think the biggest takeaway, whether you like Luke Smith or not, the fact that they're taking the time to put all this information about here's why we do things the way we do it, here's why we're looking at the changes we're about to make. It's way better than just getting patch notes and going, what, why are you doing this? So
Why?
Still going to be people that disagree with decisions being made and some of the design philosophies, but at least we're now privy to where their head is, because that puts us in a better position to give actual constructive feedback instead of it sucks, fucking stupid drifter. Like to me that's a win.
I still feel that way about the drifter, for the record.
Feel that way about the Infinite Forest.
Anyway.
Reckoning.
Yeah. I'm a Titan.
Yeah.
I feel like we're just going to go through and trash all of the half-baked ideas that never came to fruition.
I mean, I learned that I needed to run a bubble really quickly when the Reckoning was around. It was like, oh, we don't have a Warlock.
And put it in the wrong spot and gamble.
I mean, it keeps getting better, but everything keeps getting better. And people have moved on from the company that have in the past been responsible for some decisions that weren't very popular.
Yeah, the Activision switch, like there was a slow sort of, like people were leaving. I think it seemed to stop a few weeks ago. But yeah, I've noticed a lot of people now, or not a lot, a few people have joined the team. I think they're starting to fill the ranks back out. All the empty positions that were left over.
You know, here, this is actually, you were talking about the lore earlier, so this goes with the lore and what we're talking about now. I wanted to say it earlier, but I couldn't get in edgeways. So this is just like a funny internal Bungie story about the story writing for the lore. So one of the writers had put all of this time and energy and like all the stuff you found in Leviathan. There were these stories about the shadows of Callus. And there were these really detailed characters that were different alien races than anything we've encountered. And like their little stories and how they were conscripted. Well, right before we got to this season, she was moving on to another job, the writer. So in the lore, which I didn't know this, she actually killed off all of the characters she had written on her way out. She just kind of like, so this is my house and I'm burning it to the ground. Figure it out from here. I was like,
awesome.
That's actually some cold shit right there.
So wait, the lore that we hear and how like they all die, like she did that on purpose, like.
I've heard this story, but different versions of it.
Yeah, she's built all these characters were created around the Leviathan, like in the armor, lore tabs and everything. So when you get to this season, and it's all about us it's the Chronicon of Callus, which is like the main lore book this season. It explains how Callus killed all of his shadows and got rid of them. So basically, she effectively wrote off all the characters she had built and killed them so they could never be used in the future.
Awesome. I was like, I think it's great.
Oh,
all right. I didn't know that,
but I could see how that might cause some problems for Bungie's story writing team down the road if they had anything planned.
How many different races were there? I mean, I know they covered all the ones that we knew, but it was the Arcborn was the one that I can think of that we haven't really seen.
Oh God, he's asking smart questions.
I know that.
Well,
was there another one mentioned that we hadn't seen?
There was one that
there was the Mantis
had
dude.
the cat face. like the cat face race. And I'm going to be straight with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm glad we don't have a cat face race because,
Thundercats.
dude, whatever you're into, I'm all
ESO's
about
got
the
that
freak flag. I'm right. I'm down with it. Whatever you're into, I don't judge anybody. Don't think we need furry level fan art in Destiny. It gets weird enough as it is. We don't need to add that element to it because I don't want to see tails coming out of Guardian butts. No.
You do realize by saying this out loud, you have in fact just created what you said you didn't want to see, and it'll show up in my Twitter feed now.
I'm sure it will.
It's already there, guys.
Grindhead,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
It's
Go ahead and
definitely
add
already
it.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, but now he's gonna get linked.
Dragons.
This is fine. No, no.
It's out there.
That's based on fact.
Yeah. There is a precedent.
Now I'm thinking of furries.
In Reddit and Tumblr.
Narrator, he is judging you.
I think for some reason when I think of furries, if someone mentions it, like I think of a BronyCon. Because the BronyCon came to Baltimore. It was like I forget what I was doing, but I was like walking down at the Inner Harbor, and a bunch of people going to BronyCon were like across the street, but it's really fucking obvious they were going to BronyCon. And I was like, what is that? Like, where are they going?
Like,
why are they dressed like that? I have all the curiosity, and I found out.
And
about
why was I
BronyCon.
not invited to this party?
Yeah, that's how I found out about BronyCon. What it was.
So I used
well,
to.
my point is that furries are fun.
Wait.
Furries are great. I think they're fascinating. It's a cool culture. I just don't
for it.
necessarily want that in Destiny. That's all I'm saying. I want to be clear. I'm not hating on furries, guys.
Here it comes.
My only experience with furries. I used to DJ at a
I
bar
knew
in
it.
Akron. And they used to have different theme nights. And one day I
called
was in
this shit.
for like a staff meeting, and I met some of the other DJs, and one of the nights that they had was a furry night. And the DJ of the furry night was somebody who did this, and at the end of the meeting I was
Makes
walking
sense.
out, I was talking to one of the security guys, and he goes, "That guy right there just got back from Vegas. They threw him out of his hotel because he was shitting in a box in his room."
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
What?
I knew it was coming.
Oh,
I don't know, man. I don't have anything.
I mean,
Gotta go. You gotta go.
I mean,
Every hotel room I've ever been in has had a bathroom attached to it.
look,
Yeah.
folks. We're not kink shaming, but maybe
Don't shit in a
don't
box.
Yeah,
I
maybe
knew
don't
it.
shit in the box. Maybe.
I knew it was gonna play. I saw it coming, and I knew it was gonna play out exactly the way it did. And I am not disappointed. It's fucking. All right. Well, on that.
Nah, shit in
That
my
was an
box in my hotel room at the convention.
That
Yeah,
needs to
I
be.
mean,
that needs to be.
I think we're gonna. I think we're gonna end on the human litter box story because I mean, how are we gonna top
That
that?
needs to be an emote on Twitch from now on.
It can only fucking go downhill
But
from
didn't
there.
they
The
ban
episode,
like
the episode
cat
title
butt
is now "Shit in a Box."
emotes?
I call it.
That-
They banned the buddy mode.
Yeah, there was a cat. There were cat butt emotes that people used. Like it was like a couple years ago. They started banning them. Apparently, you can't. Even if it's like a cartoon cat butthole, you can't even have it.
Actually,
I'm gonna research this.
Jim, I think
Yeah,
tonight's episode
there
is
is
going to
none.
be labeled as Luke's Manifesto.
I tried.
I mean, I'm sticking
Try
with
to bring some
$240
class.
worth of pudding.
Try to bring the. I want the record to show. I try to bring some class. Just saying.
I
By
mean, it
talking
was your
about
turn.
furries.
Yeah, I mean, this is technically.
I'm not
you know
hating
what,
on
see,
furries, but I wouldn't consider it classic.
See, that's a good point, Jim. This is actually all your fucking fault. So
Of course it is.
you started the dominoes,
Absolutely.
and you brought us from that to humans shitting in boxes. So
Isn't
GG's.
that what I'm here for?
Question mark.
Like the reverse hype man. You didn't know that?
Furry type fan.
The reverse hype.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring the room down.
There's Flavor Flav, and there's
The anti-hype.
All right.
Anyway, all right, let's wrap this fucking.
T, where the hell can
show
people
up.
find you on the internets and all that fun stuff?
I don't think they want to find me, but if they do, they can just
Wow,
click
is your name T?
IAMTEEBOT.com. All my links are there.
For fuck's
Thanks to
sake,
Jim.
Jim. No.
Oh, he's a Jim.
Shut the
No,
fuck
he said
up.
T, but everyone started talking, so I was like, I'll just wait.
After your whole fucking furry incident,
Hold
you can
on,
sit
chat
there
just
and
said-
shut the fuck up.
Chat just said there's an alarming number of cat butt emotes. But are they on Twitch? That's the question.
Shay would know this. Adam?
All right, you can find
I
me
need to know.
twitch.tv/IAMTEEBOT, Twitter/IAM_TBOT. I do stuff early morning, 6 to 9 a.m. You probably won't see me because no one fucking wakes up that early. But that's when I play Destiny on Twitch.
Jim, where are you at?
I'm apparently in the doghouse right now. That's where I'm
he's
at.
Furry shaming.
You fucking furry shamer, you.
Yeah, I'm at furryshaman.com/grindheadgym/ not really. Nah, just grindhead gym. Look it up. It's easy, simple. I make it easy.
Rick,
I'll be sitting here in this chair staring at the screen until next week, or follow me on Twitter, @_arms2112. All roads in life open up there. But anyway, T, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. That was fun.
It's been fucking surreal.
Future
It started heavy and then it got weird, and I like that.
That's all good.
it's not surprising that we talked about ninja and furries on the same night.
Shut up, you fucked it
Hey,
up
man.
for everyone.
Now, if you have the time to actually cut the audio so it sounds like Ninja is a furry, then you got internet
I've
gold.
kind of been holding to that theory for a long time.
You won't do it, you're fucking scared. Anyway, folks.
Raise your hands. Who gave Ninja your phone number?
No, I did not.
Why would I
It took
give
me
You
a
audio
minute.
listeners,
It was,
staring at the
it
camera.
was sort of a, it was a joke.
why would I give that idiot my phone number?
I can't. Who's coming on next week? I can't remember.
You fucking booked it.
Cornholio.
There you go.
The great and powerful Cornholio.
Next week we all need to wear Beavis and Butthead t-shirts.
I don't have one, so
No.
that's not going to happen.
No.
Amazon is a thing.
Anyway, say goodnight, everyone. We're going to do a raid.
Who are we rating?
Night, everyone.
Good night.
Too late.